Hello, s.s. Karthikeya.
Sir,
I,
hello.
I'm not sure how to talk to you right now because there's this Oscar shine all over you.
Oh, is it? Okay.
No, but I want to really
Yeah,
refer to a tweet by Shobu Yarlagadda, who
right,
one of the producers of Bahubali,
right.
and he was there following this whole thing, and he tweeted that a special shout out to you
Sir,
on Twitter. That
yeah.
he tweeted that special shout out to you for this being this quiet behind the scenes person that led us to this Oscar win. So I'm going to begin. I want you to take us through this campaign, but I
Yeah.
want to begin by asking, at what point did the team say, "Let us take RRR to the Oscars"?
Yeah. I mean, first of all, about his tweet, he was just being too sweet. I mean, it's obviously not. I mean, it can't be just me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
And the team decided that we should go to the Oscars, or try, try to take that route when the fans told us to. It was their dream more than ours to begin with. So RRR, whatever, it had its traditional release exactly 1 year ago
Yeah.
in the US and all over the world, and it was done. I mean, it had a great run, a very successful run, and it was done. And then there was somewhere they started an organic Western love coming in for RRR. Very very people like Americans watching the film, right? And since then, and then and then once that started, people like Josh, Josh Hurtado, and
Hurtado, yeah.
Hurtado, who's been in touch, who's been a great Indian cinema lover, since the past 10 years.
Yeah.
So he's always in touch with us, and he said, this is something, there's something happening. Like, we I think we should kind of, and then we all got on a call and we said, okay, then how do we capitalize? And then Dylan came into the picture, who's from Variance Films, who's the distributor, who kind of,
Who's the distributor? Where?
distributor. He's a distributor
In
in the US.
In the US.
Right. Then he came into the picture, and then we just wanted to kind of do a re-release of RRR. This was sometime around June 2022, saying because there is some, there is some buzz in the Westerners and the Americans. They're liking the film. Let's kind of give them a more theatrical. I mean, the film is going to come on Netflix very soon.
Right.
But this is a theatrical movie, right? So let's give them that.
Yeah.
That was a thought. And then we didn't want to go big, generally overseas we release a movie in more than 1,000 screens, and but we released the movie targeting these American audience in very, niche theaters. It's not the regular movie theaters. There are few theaters in the US, like the Draft House Cinema, where there's a niche audience
Is that in
comes.
Texas?
There is one in Texas, there's one in Chicago, there's one in New York, and so these places. I mean, Josh and the team told us, and and then we were like, okay, so these when a movie comes in the theater itself, it's a very people are like, okay, if it's coming in this theater, then there's something special about this movie.
Okay, okay.
So it's that kind of this thing. So we started with that with 60 screens, and we said we release it for one day, one Friday. That's it. That was the aim. So we released the movie on June 1st, and the movie was on Netflix on May 25th. That's 5 days before. And then we started off with one day, and it went on for a month. So that release, and screens went going up, and it was all Americans who came up, and Americans and everybody. I mean, they were Indians obviously, but majority of
Right.
non-Indians, who came and loved, and all those videos you might have been seeing,
Yeah.
and those guys. So they started this hashtag, and they started trending this, saying RRR for Oscars, RRR for Oscars. Like, wait, what? I mean, we thought RRR was done. I mean, in terms of, it had a great run. Okay, we thought there was something, and we released the film again, and we wanted to push it. We pushed it, and now they're saying Oscars. I mean, it's a dream for anybody who,
Right.
we make a movie here for the Indians outside India, in India. Oscars is a far shot when you think about it, but we thought, okay, why not? And then, yes, then that's how the thought came in, and we started off.
Right. So it's amazing that one of the things that you did was you did not say, I'm going to Americanize this, take off the songs or trim it or do anything like that. You presented it to them
Yeah.
the way you presented it here,
Yeah.
and that really took off.
Yeah.
So one can never say why these things happen.
Yeah,
But
one knows.
in your opinion,
Yeah.
why did it click so much there?
I mean, sir, I think, I mean, like you said in your question, when you said, we didn't take off the songs, and I mean, that song itself got us all this glory right now.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
to be honest, I mean, because that was something new to them,
Right.
if we are, again, I mean, the thought was, I mean, people are already liking it. And I mean, if you look back and think why, I mean, it can all be just assumptions, sir. Like you said, nobody knows why exactly. It's all based on your, the responses that come in from people. And because, I mean, it's something new. People always, they want to watch something new. So it was very new. The song and dance concept was, they probably heard about, the Indian movies have song and dance, but
Right.
they're actually experiencing it with a nice story in it and
Right.
such powerful performances in terms of dance, and that was obviously talking about, the song and dance. And in general, the movie, I feel, sir, I mean, I think just the unapologetic heroism that is there. I mean, those are the other parts that we could see when we are looking at audiences' reaction when they're watching the movie. That was something they were really enjoying. And when we talked to people after the screenings and they're like, what did you like? And, and you could, and especially just when, the Tarakanna puts on Charan on his shoulders, that was, and people are shouting, like,
Yeah.
how they shout here and, things like that. So you could see that that's what they're enjoying.
Right.
So that unapologetic heroism and the song and dance, people also standing up and dancing, they were enjoying it. I mean,
Right.
it was not just sitting and watching a movie, but actually experiencing it physically also.
Right.
So it was that kind of a thing, and that's why I feel, I mean,
Yeah.
that's, yeah.
I have a theory. Do you want to listen to it?
Sure, please.
I think, most Americans, they've
Yeah.
been exposed to song and dance via Hindi films.
Yeah.
And apart from maybe one or two, maybe I can think of Lagan, which is different, but
Yeah.
otherwise, most films use song and dance like a music video.
Right.
Right, it's a fun like little interlude
Yeah.
where you kind of think so they it's like an MTV video or something
Yeah.
like that, right? But I think this must have really surprised them because in one song somebody is being whipped,
Yeah.
another song,
Yeah.
there's a clash between the Indians and the Americans, not to British,
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah.
that's happening. So there's a bit of a a
Small
colonial
bit.
thing happening
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah. It
Then
has its own story in that.
yeah, so
Yeah.
that I think the contextualization of the songs
Yeah.
was so different and unique that
Yeah.
it wasn't just another song and dance movie.
Yeah.
It became something else.
Yeah, it's basically part of the story. It's not something not something that is detached
Yeah.
from the story, or like you said, it's just not a music video.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
has, there is the story is moving from point A, I mean, the beginning of the song to end of the song.
Right.
The story has changed.
Changed, yeah.
So it's, it's not paused.
That's one
So
thing.
I think,
And the other thing is also because of the action, the
Yeah.
scale of the action.
Yeah.
The first time I was watching RRR and the scene on the bridge happened and,
Yeah, yeah.
they're jumping and,
Yeah.
saving the boy.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable that something like, or even Charan's first, like
introduction,
the
yeah.
introduction, that
mob,
action.
yeah, yeah.
I think that kind of made it a kind of Crouching Tiger.
Yeah.
When you remember Crouching Tiger, nobody had seen people fly and fight.
Yeah.
So this was something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
They've used to Marvel action,
Yeah.
computer generated, all that kind of stuff. But this was something else.
Yeah,
And I think
yeah.
I think those
I'm
things.
sure, sir. Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, every bit of it. I mean, there was, like I said, everything was new to
New,
them.
yeah,
And everything
yeah.
was new to them, and I feel personally, I feel the action sequences in RRR, I feel are, I think, the best action sequences. In all my dad's films, like I mean, we are all action lovers. We love action films, and I'm sure you can clearly understand. But in RRR, every sequence, like the tiger chase and this, and even and then both of them just meeting, the bridge sequence and the interval sequence, animals coming out,
Yeah.
and then both of them on shoulder. So every action piece was unique.
Yeah.
Like nothing that you've seen before. So I think that was definitely another, yeah.
Right. So let's get back to the campaign. Now the nomination time comes, and India nominates this movie.
Yeah.
Of course, it's worthwhile. All that. Let's not compare movies now.
Yeah, yeah.
Was there a sense of disappointment that RRR was not nominated
For Best Picture, you're saying?
from India?
From India.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yes, I mean, obviously there was a little disappointment, so, but it is what it is. We were really hoping, we had our fingers crossed. I mean, it would be really, because by then, there was already a lot of buzz. in the Western this thing. So we hoped, this would give a really good, if it was sent from India, it would give a really good push. It would really help. But we were disappointed, but we said, okay, we anyway have our plan sorted. Let's go by our plan. And we just went ahead.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's the most amazing thing about this campaign is that, you guys just went ahead and said, listen, we are mounting our own Oscar campaign.
Yeah.
And which has never happened before. Right. I mean, it's usually somebody's sent and then they kind of, fail. Before we begin talking about the campaign again extensively, do you think that there have been a lot of stories about, how you spent so much money and
Right.
you bought the Oscar and that you paid some 2,500 per seat
Per seat.
for the Oscars and things like that, and they all kind of somehow seem to suggest that this is not the done thing. Like the Oscars is going to be awarded on pure merit. I wanted to talk about, let's begin with the paying for the seats bit.
Yeah, so about the tickets, I mean, so like you said, sir, Mr. NTR, Mr. Ram Charan, and Mr. Prem Rakshit Master, and Rahul Sipliganj, and Kala Bhairav were invitees. They were officially invited, and obviously Kirwani Baba and Chandra Bose Garu were the nominees. So we had about 7 or 8 invites, and the others, it is a thing for the same for everybody. Whoever the nominees will get a few, and whoever is performing or whoever they feel will be nice to have them. They decide. Academy decides, and they invite them on official invitation. And for any other movie, anybody, the rest of the thing, everybody has to kind of buy, and that too, nobody can just come and buy tickets. So the nominees have to send out an official email saying, this is what I want to bring along my family, my director, or anybody. And there are classes of tickets, and so for what we bought for our family is we bought, but not the prices that we are seeing outside. I mean, those are just those are not true. It's just so what we paid was about $1,500 for the tickets on the lower level, and we got another 4 tickets for our for our family as well, which are completely on top. That was about $750 or something.
Right.
That's about it. Yeah.
That means that somebody like Mr. Kirani or so one of them writes an email to the Academy saying,
I want Kirwani Baba and Chandra Bose Garu, both of them are nominees. So both of them wrote emails saying we need these many tickets. And we also give them who are we asking for.
Okay.
So we said s.s. Rajamouli, the director, and his wife, and Karthikeya, the line producer, and this and his wife, and then like that. It's a process, and they see it. They see who's and then they give out tickets, and they give a link. You go to that link, pay it, and it's all official and
But I want to know, like, see the Oscars campaign itself. When you say campaign itself, it is a lot of money being spent in order to raise the profile of a movie and get it noticed, right? I mean, you can't really buy an Oscar. It's kind of impossible. But why do you think that perception just happened here?
I mean, I don't know why that perception came, because I think because it became so huge. It became, I mean, the phenomenon. It became the phenomena. It became, like I was saying before, it became so big from, the fans started liking it, and they, made it so big. It's all them who made it so big, the fans, and, they really like the movie. And when you say campaign, it's a campaign that basically you started, it's like marketing your film, like how you market your film before a release. Like you have a publicity budget, like you have, you spend, you make you strategize a plan, you see where you have to spend, how to spend and everything. And then you go about that plan. That's about you. I mean, see, I'm sure sir, buying an Oscar itself is a joke. I mean, it's a 95-year-old institution, an institution that they do. There's a process for that, and I mean, you can't really buy the audience love, sir. You can't buy what Steven Spielberg said about the movie. You can't buy what James Cameron said about the movie. It's all. I mean, it became so big when the fans made it so big, and when those big people like them spoke about the movie, it just the whole, it actually became a phenomena.
Right.
So I mean, they'll say what they have to say. I mean, it's just how you see it, sir. Yeah.
So that's a very nice analogy, because just like you have a PR budget for a movie before it is released to get the movie to the masses or to let people know that this and all is there, you need an Oscar budget to kind of reach
To the right people.
to reach to the right people. Now, let's talk about that. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know if you're comfortable sharing numbers, but let's talk about that thing. Now, when you all discussed, right, that you were sending it to the Oscars, did you have an idea of the budget right then?
Yes, we did. I mean, initially they came up with a budget of, they knew, I mean, it was going to, it's not like we have a big studio backing us, like how the other Hollywood films have, or
Right.
other foreign films also. Sometimes there are other foreign films that a big studio in the US, they take over their campaign and they do it for them. I mean, they have their own understanding, right? But we don't have a studio like that backing us. It's, coming out of our pockets.
Right.
Well, they came in with a budget of 5 crores first, and then we said 5 crores also, like, too much. How can we, like, there was obviously that, trying to figure out a most economical and an effective way. And then they were divided into 3 phases, and then we spent about 2.5 to 3 crores in phase 1. And then when we got to the nominations, we thought, once the nominations are there, that's the second phase, and we'll do a different, we'll spend a little more. And then it went on, and we thought we can kind of wrap up the whole campaign in about 5 to 6, but we ended up spending about 8.5 crores. We also, I mean, we knew where it was. When they said, then they came back with, we wanted a little more push somewhere else. In New York, we wanted to do some more screenings. We thought we were lacking there a bit, so we did more screenings in New York, kind of, engaged more people there. Did stuff like that, and in LA as well. So we were going day by day, looking at the buzz and where we thought, somewhere something was required, and by the end of it, what we spent was about 8.5 crores.
Right.
Yeah.
So where does this go? I know one of the things that almost everybody does in Oscar campaigns is buy ads in trade publications like Variety and Hollywood Reporter.
Yeah.
And those ads say for your consideration.
Correct.
So which means like for your, like all Oscar voters, this is for your consideration. So those cost a lot of money. Those ads, those like full page ads or whatever cost money.
Correct.
Where else does the money
So
go?
like any other, like we said, sir, it's just like any other marketing campaign, like for your movie release. So it goes on to social media, it goes on to email blasts, it goes into, like you said, the paper ads, it goes into screenings.
Yeah.
And most of it, obviously, is the expensive part is the screenings.
Okay.
You do a lot of screenings, and now reception post the screening. Basically, that's when you screen your film to the voters, and they come and meet you and talk about the film. You do a Q&A, and there is they come and talk, and then that's when you kind of understand how the buzz is, how they're speaking, and how to drive your campaign. So those post receptions, they're basically like they have some snacks or that's about it, and these email blasts and your PR teams,
Right.
So we've got 3 PR teams. We hired one PR team based from New York and 2 of them based from LA.
Okay.
So you have their fees, and it's that. Yeah.
So how was this special PR team different from a regular PR team that markets movies? What do they do?
So basically, these. I mean, it's so these guys, they know, they've, what kind of narratives to run, how to kind of reach out to, the academy, or there are how to reach out to the academy, who is who. They do a lot of PR, as in not just kind of, social PR. They do a lot of social PR. They do the strategy as well, who to talk to, what to say, and who are these, how they bring people on, create interest in these big publications. There's a movie, this is RRR, you need to speak to them, and they create that interest, bring them to us, and we speak. So they know who's influential in what, they know the right people who do this thing, and they know who to, when they invite and they do a lot of screenings, they go to speak, they literally know each person's names also. Like our team, like, we have Josh and Ryan and Julie and Jason, they literally, Emily, who was, they know who's who, and that's why they're award specialists, and they know, and they go and talk, and they kind of understand the buzz, what they're feeling about the movie, and we again regroup and say, okay, this is what the feeling is. That, and the movie thing is not, you're not dealing with voters, or you just want to reach out to people,
right?
So that's it. It's not it's not, so it's a completely different ball game, sir.
Yeah. So which means that if I see an interview with s.s. Karthikeya or s.s. Rajamouli or Mr. Kiravani
Yeah.
in, let's say, New York Times, it's kind of gone through this process of being arranged by the PR.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Yes, yes.
So
I mean, they were, I'm sure there are a few things that came in organically
organically, yeah.
before we got these PRs. Like, probably in the phase from last March to June, July, probably the interviews that came in the international publications were all organic because the buzz already, took on. Post that from September, say September is when we kind of, September or August, September, if I'm not able to, I think that's the time around when we had onboarded these PR teams. So from then on, whatever came, it came through them, what they've arranged, and yeah.
So basically, if I'm to understand, this you talked about, hosting a screening and then having some drinks or snacks or
Yeah,
whatever it is,
yeah,
and then,
yeah,
like
yeah,
talking to people.
yeah.
It's basically to get them to notice a film.
You're talking about the screen, or
Screenings.
yeah, the
Yeah.
screen, correct.
Yeah.
We
Because,
send out
like,
invites.
I'm assuming that if I'm an Academy Award voter, I'm going to get 5,000 DVDs, right?
Correct.
It's impossible for me to see everything.
Everything, correct.
So this is a process of,
Yeah.
like making
Yeah,
a
so
film
like
stand out.
yeah, like you said, sir, there'll be thousands of films. Like, obviously everybody can't watch all films. So that's when comes in your social media and your PR, this thing, when you create that interest for that person to watch this film.
Right.
Right. Why should that person, let's just, like, sir, there are so many things for a person to do outside day in day and out, sir. Like, for a normal person, he's working from morning to evening, and he has so many things to do. Spend time with his family, go out for dinner, go out, take his kids to a play zone or something. He can do so many things, but why should he come and watch your movie? You create that interest, right? It's the same thing. So they have so many movies to watch and, kind of vote. So you create that interest, or that this thing that, okay, we need to watch this film. So that's when your social media campaigns come in, and you create that interest for that person to watch. So we send out these invites for the screening. So whoever is interested, like, thankfully, for whatever RRR, the interest we had been able to create, every screening we created, we had, was a house full,
Right.
with voters. And PR teams used to tell us, because it's a new process for us, is it never happens, like, every time it's a 95% occupancy, like, not with the audience. It's these, this never happens. It's not the usual. So, that was like a good one, positive sign for us in the beginning of this thing.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
And in the middle of this, you also had some very nice organic developments, like the New York Film Critics Circle.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That was
giving an award to.
yeah. Yes, sir. Like, that was like a really nice moment for us, for the whole family and for the team. It was a huge.
Best director, right?
Best director.
Yeah.
Best director. He got best director in Kirani Babai. He got best music director in Lafka. This is New York Film Academy. We got
That's
best
LA.
director, and that's LA Film Critics. He got best music director, best score. So those two were like one nice push. That was the initial things that actually
Right.
came across, and it was like a good moral push for us also. Okay, we're doing the right thing. We're in the right path. Let's do what we're doing.
Right.
Yeah.
So this kind of, what was the reaction once the nominations came? You said, okay, let's like step up the gear. Let's go one level higher.
Yeah.
But when when those nominations came,
Yeah.
were you in a bit of shock, or like were you in a bit of like what was the reaction?
Nomination, we were not surprised, sir. We knew we were going to get it. We got it.
Right.
Obviously after the Golden Globe win, the Golden Globe win was something we knew we had a very good chance for best song, and but you still have that kind of nervousness, and that was a surreal moment. It was, I'm sure you saw those videos, all of us just jumping up the table, of the chairs, and yeah, and once that came in, we kind of knew we were going to get to the nomination, because somehow, winning is not guaranteed, that we don't know, but because that buzz is there about the song, now it won a Golden Globe, people will shift focus and kind of see what this is.
Yeah.
So the nominations were, we were happy, obviously, on Oscar nomination. Okay, we got till here. When you look back 10 months back, we made a film for the Indians again, outside India, in India, and now you are an Oscar nominee with your song. It was a great feeling. Yeah.
No, and I think the amazing thing is, the first Indian feature film.
Yeah, Indian production.
Indian production.
Correct, sir.
To get an
yeah.
Oscar nomination and then an Oscar win.
Win.
And
Yeah,
I think that's really surreal.
Yes,
That's
it
the
is.
really surreal
It
part.
is. I mean, with us, Elephant Whisperers, they also,
Yeah.
winning an Oscar from
Yeah,
India
yeah.
in the same year, two
Yeah.
Indian productions.
Yeah.
You know,
And for the first time ever.
and for the first time ever,
Yeah.
we together created history.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really
Yeah,
a
one
great
feature
feeling.
film, one short film, just pretty much,
Both the films did it for the country at the same time. It is a really nice
It's a
feeling.
super feel good moment.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
is
yeah,
like,
it is.
and one part of nominating is obviously the film's quality, right? That's definitely going to be there. But do you think they should also take into consideration the potential of the film's producers to run a campaign for the Oscars?
Yeah, that's definitely, that's a step two, sir. Like you said, once the film is sent, you got to, someone has to go and, put your foot there and make sure your presence is felt, that your film is there. I mean, I really don't know what the process is about, what the criteria is on, on what grounds they select. I mean, but I'm sure they have a set process, and that's they have a process and they go about it. But this, obviously, they should also, I mean, there should be some way, either, see that a production has, because, it also shouldn't go wasted. Like, like India sending out a film, I mean, either they see a production, like you said, a production has a capability to go spend the money, or either there's some government support. That would be really, I mean, there are, even, this is also completely new for us, for a country, and, probably, something like this, they'll also kind of now, realize, that, we also didn't know, like, to begin with, that, this is how the process is, that, you need to do screenings, and this much it will cost for your screenings and your PR and your social media. So this is something even new for us, being in the industry.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we knew, but not really how much or what exactly that you need to do. So I think from now, they, either the government support, giving like a, I mean, that'll be really nice. I mean, if they can, give a certain budget saying we are sending out a film and this is this thing. I mean, I think that's a better way, because they kind of, they have their own, their set of process of, on criteria on how, what film to send. But yeah, like you said, that's a valid point, as in, someone who needs to have the capacity to, go do a campaign,
Right,
or market your film there in a completely new land. Either like you said, they should see up that the production has it, because that's sometimes it can be very tricky. Sometimes the film is really nice, but the production doesn't have it, but it shouldn't lose the chance of being sent.
right.
Apart from that, if they can select the movie, and if the government can, set a certain budget and say,
Like an Oscar fund.
or something, like, okay, this is the film and this is the budget, find the right people and go get an Oscar for the country. That'll be a nice thing. I mean, probably say, because this is also new for us, even,
Like you said,
right? Even we don't know. I mean, even though we know that, that people, to campaign, market your films to get an Oscar or to any award, but we don't know. Even being in the industry, we don't know what the exact process is,
Right.
Unless you actually jump into it.
Right.
So probably even here people will realize, okay, this is something that, we need to support, like how, they come up and support for so many other things, right?
Right.
I think this will be the next one.
Yeah.
I really hope it does.
So just to recap, what are the steps of an Oscar campaign? The first is to find PR agencies that are specialized.
Yeah, first, I mean, someone coming out from India, sir. I mean, this is not something, I mean, like, that is definitely one very important thing.
Just tell me 1, 2, 3. This is
Yeah.
what you did. How you did it? Like the first
I
thing
mean,
you
like
did
how
was,
I mean, I wouldn't say this will work out for everybody.
Sure, but the way you did it.
Yeah, because, it a lot of it happened organically, sir. A lot of it happened, like the second release, we thought we'll do it for one day in 60 screens. That went on to become a huge thing. And people started loving it. Social media was flooded with messages. So that happened organically.
Right.
I can't guarantee.
Sure.
Or even if there is a set process, you can't guarantee you can get to an Oscar, right? So I mean, that's the first thing we did. We partnered with Dylan and Josh, and we did this re-release, and then started this whole RRR for Oscars. And we thought, okay, and we obviously had a lot of discussions about, what to do. Is it, Is it, I mean, is it even something? We were a little shocked in the beginning, surprised, and we took a little time to digest it and said, okay, fine, let's not, give it a shot. Let's go give it a shot. And then we had these people on board, Dylan and Josh, and then we got in these PR teams.
Right.
We got in these PR teams. They had a plan, and this is the plan, this much for this much. You have to spend these many things for ads and paper ads and social media and email blasts, sending out requests, invites, and continuous running stories, and
Right.
saying, just being there,
Right.
for that. And once they plan, once their plans, you see whether you have that bandwidth in terms of time. You have to go there. You have to have that time and that amount of patience and money to kind of do the whole thing. I mean, it's each one's own this thing, and then you decide on that, and then you go. So it's basically phases, sir. Like we did it. We made about 3 or 4 trips,
Right.
and they tell you what where to some very important events that you need to go to kind of
For
have your,
example?
for example, the Governor's Award that we went to around November. In
Yeah.
November we went. So that's just by then people know your film. Like I mean, at least for RRR, they've heard about it. So just kind of putting a face to the name that they've heard. That kind of a thing. You just being there, kind of
Right, right.
say hi to people, and then okay, you are, and once you have a face to the name, it's more relatable for you do things like that, and that's it, sir. It's again, then you keep going until you get nominations, and from the nomination you have another plan
Right.
already set in place, and then you just activate
So
that.
the key thing is getting those specialized PRs.
Oh yeah, yeah. Those PR teams, and like I was saying, the Cinetech and Accolade and Divergent, these 3 PR teams that worked for us, and Dylan from Variance and Josh
And
from
that was your
Potente.
distributor, and Josh from
Josh from Potente,
Yeah.
and these guys, they run. That's it. It's them and us, and from
basically
here,
delegated to them, and they take care of them.
yeah. And then they come up with plans, and they come
Right.
up with strategies, ideas, and it's always a discussion, but it's mainly them. That's it, and they have people under them, obviously.
Right, right.
Yeah. And
So you must have interacted with nominees from other countries as well, right?
Right,
Did you?
yeah.
So again, I'm not asking for a precise answer.
Yeah.
But did you get a feeling of, let's say there's this film from Norway, or from somewhere in Africa, or
Yeah.
maybe an Australian film or something like that.
Yeah.
How do those films do they follow the same procedure? They hire PR firms and
Yeah. So each one, I mean, I got to interact with, not much also, sir, very briefly, with the team of Argentina. There's a film that was sent from the film called Argentina, and we met them, and they won the best international film in Golden Globes. We were nominated along with them. We really had a good conversation. So I mean, it's the same thing, sir. They're about a lot. They do this. They follow the same process. They come. They do again a lot of screenings, and and like try to get in touch with the PR teams. It's kind of the same. It's nothing very. It's again, were you there in the with the right people at the right time, with the right movie. It's all about that, and I think we were. So
Right.
yeah.
So what did Mr. S.S. Rajamouli say after getting the award?
I mean, he was ecstatic. He was very happy, more than very happy for the country, and he was very happy for his brother. Because he's had, like, remember, he had a 30-year career,
Right.
30 after a 30-year career, and working more than close to 300 films. So it was just, for him, he was like really happy that he's achieved. He's come. There's this kind of an award that is there for him. He was really happy.
This kind of award. It's like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
award.
yeah. It is. He got an Oscar. I mean, this kind, as in like such a big award.
Yeah. I mean, the reason I didn't ask was Mr. Kiravani's reaction is because he actually sang it on stage.
Yes.
So,
Yeah. So you know how he's feeling.
We know how he was feeling.
Yeah.
So that's why I asked you about how your dad felt.
Yeah, he was ecstatic. Yeah.
Right. So now that you've got this learning by being, I mean, of course, you teamed up with a lot of people, but you pretty much spearheaded like you were in front of the whole thing, driving everything.
Yeah.
At any point, did you guys wonder, should we do this? Should we spend this much money? Should this happen? Should that happen? Are we doing too much? Is it overselling? You know, those kinds of whether little doubts.
I mean, I wouldn't say doubts, but they were. I mean, there were points. There were times, not too many times, but should we? Because are we? I mean, like we had a few, but there was so much love coming in. Like you could see people, talking about the film. There was so much happening
Right.
organically itself. So we just thought. I mean, not few. Just once it was just our family. We just had a chat, and we thought, okay, let's do it. I mean, there's so much happening organically without, there's so much love coming in from the fans, and there is something there. Let's try it out. I mean, we've got a huge kickstart.
Right.
Right. I mean, I don't think any film. I mean, we were so fortunate to have that kickstart. So when we've already reached a level, the fans put us in a level where I don't think any film would get.
Right.
So let's not waste that, and kind of build on that.
Yeah.
That was the idea. So when we look back, that's what we thought. We said, no, let's go for it all the way.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like, are you still dreaming about the Oscars, or is it a thing of the past right now?
I mean, obviously, we're still in the feeling, enjoying it. Winning an Oscar. Obviously, we're all sinking it in slowly, and also trying to come back to come back to reality and start working on the next.
Yeah. So, so tell me about the team, though. The finally, there's a huge, massive team that was responsible for
Yes,
RRR, right?
Yeah.
How did that happen? Did you guys throw a party or?
RRR, I mean, yeah. I mean, we didn't yet, sir. I mean, people are. I mean, everybody is just all over the place.
Right.
So I mean, we more than us, the industry, from our Telugu industry. A lot of people are, they came us, they were very happy for us, and they came and met us. They said we want to have a celebration for this, and we are still trying to. So the whole industry is doing it for us.
Lovely.
So yeah. And they're trying to figure out a date. It'll be there sometime soon. Yeah.
Nice. I hope you have a lot of fun. Thank you
Yeah,
so much for sharing this, because everybody has these different theories about they just think you just put a film out there and it's going to automatically find its way to the
Right.
final nominations list.
Right,
But
right.
clearly, it's like I said, it's like a political campaign. Just like you go from place to place to place saying,
Yeah.
please vote for us.
Yeah.
You got to pretty
Yeah,
much
yeah.
do this at the
Do that.
Oscars as well, because you have a quality product, but you have to sell it.
Sell it,
And
exactly.
so thank you for taking us through that process, and it was a pleasure talking to you.
So thank you for coming down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.